All right. So I last video I kind of like lost my composure, and I want to have this to be an extended version of an extended part of that video. I'm sitting here arrogantly making decisions towards how I want this to be in the future, which is literally me just not really following any positive energy slash path. But I can't help but look at my mind or look at the presence of my mind as a reflection of whatever consciousness could be. I can't help but look at if you're thinking these kinds of thoughts, if you're thinking in these kinds of patterns, then at the very least, you have to kind of like work through these scenarios. And it's funny because this, I wanted it to be continuation from the one before, but the reality is mind assigns. So here, that's one of the notes. Like, no, your mind assigns blame based on what you accept. And so all of these are scenarios I'm arrogantly having in my head, and I'm a part of them are publicly kind of like coming out. But ultimately, whatever I give attention to is going to rise and be the thing. And the last video was about to kind of like be one of those tyrannical, this has to happen. The truth is I still basically take money from my dad in order for me to sustain myself. A big part of me wants to finish any job for anyone in order to feel good about the skills I've been learning the past year. Insecurities, lack of confidence, all that kind of shit, man. You name it, has been something I'm working through. And the one solid rock that's been next to me has been my dad. And today I felt like he's the one person, I felt like he was using that as leverage so I comply. That's the truth behind the feeling. I can I couldn't give it to him, man. I didn't care to give it to him. It was bullshit. It was nonsense, and it didn't merit any kind of feeling or interaction or anything. It was something so stupid that he made it a point, and I took it this way. And he probably didn't intentionally want it that way. And I'm probably yelling right now. Am I? I can't hear myself. Probably. But as upset as I am with myself, I don't really feel bad about what I did. I'm just fucking disappointed. I'm disappointed the day ended this way. It was fucking beautiful. I'm disappointed that what they wanted to do was to just sit in the picturesque moments and literally remember that as a thing instead of truly being fucking present. Every single one of them is a meditator. Every single one of them finds their inner peace. All day today, they were talking about traveling to India so they could actually sit harmoniously together and meditate. And I couldn't see how I just couldn't. Maybe a big part of me sees the hypocrisy and arrogance in it. Not the arrogance in it, I see the ego that kind of gets built around like activities and events. It's the whole point of my platform is like our formation in society is the interactions we do and how we build on top of them. And even if it's an interaction with like a spiritual interaction, people can be egotistical when they're being spiritual. And so they really ruined the essence of the day. And for me, it's just like it was a good fucking day, man. And I didn't do anything wrong. And this is the inner child in me, kind of like being upset because like I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't fucking do anything wrong. And it sounds whiny, and it's just like I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated, and a big part of me thinks that the consciousness that's throwing this frustration in front of me is because will you be able to handle anyone when you're insecure? They seem like they're a clutch to me right now. Anytime I got frustrated, I go to family. And most of the time, when family disappoint me, is when I am not able to kind of like work anymore. See, the goal of family for me is to kind of like be able to leverage yourself, slash your emotions, slash your progress, slash your change, anything, by having something next to you that's consistent, that you can trust, that you love. And there's still people and all that shit, man. But if I'm doing good working and working hard and like building and like writing code and just sitting and actually spending the day in a way where I feel like I'm productive in order to build something in my head and my spirit. As I actually, when I go to family so I can release, so I can talk to them, so I can enjoy their presence and all that stuff. But all they have is that presence. So I feel their power towards you is something too much. Something, why would anyone give anyone that kind of power? Well, that's horribly wrong because I'm trying to build trust with people. I'm trying to build some form of understanding. I'm trying to like find a way to bond, to maybe like find somebody to be cute with and love and have babies with. Some beautiful soul. Yet we rely on these people mainly for our confidence. And they're the ones that fail us. Or we are failed because we fail ourselves because of the power we give them. And it can't be helped because once you're actually like, if you're not standing on solid ground, and if you yourself don't see yourself standing on solid ground, then ultimately when you're sitting around people and expecting them to love you and like feel good for you and help you and like cuddle you and all that shit, effectively it's like a mother and child. Like a mother gives birth to the child. That's why she takes that responsibility. But people that love you, they don't want that responsibility. And the minute you give them power, first thing they would do is they would destroy it because they look at you in a very pathetic way. Those are my true feelings. Oh my fucking God. So saying this out loud literally means, I'll say this out loud, kind of cancels out that last thing I could rely on when it comes to these guys. And in a way, since right now I'm changing a whole lot of stuff, my consciousness that's bringing out these scenarios in my head. And the scenarios are literally the conversations that could happen. Like how, when you're upset with somebody, you imagine yourself being aggressive towards them, or you imagine yourself like appealing to them, or being like tentative, yelling, screaming, pushy, loving, whatever. You imagine yourself a certain kind of way with them. And for me, I try to imagine any scenario possible or any scenario within my own power to do, or at the very least within my own capacity to accept. Because some scenarios I don't accept. Today is literally the universe, consciousness, God, energy kind of going like, you want to hang out, you're not really ready for what hanging out safely with people is. And it's maybe because I'm seeking their presence as safety while they themselves do the same with me. And if I'm not mature enough to handle what they want, why the fuck would they bother handling what I want? And ultimately, that's something that I am projecting because they also are projecting their own shit on me and they want me to handle that responsibility. And I want to be a part of that responsibility as well, knowing full well that what I did today was shit on that responsibility because all they fucking wanted was for me to wait, for an unreasonable amount of time for somebody that's just randomly doing everything because he's been eating for the past hour while he's fixing the food or we're fixing the food. Yet there had to be that picturesque moment where all of us sat together and started doing the thing. And I really think it was stupid. It still is stupid. I really think they ruined the whole moment of the day. I really think everything that worked around it. And I kind of like, there has to be a way for me, there has to be something from this that makes me, it's the energy that was thrown at the day by the end of it to be like, no, you're not there yet. That's how I'm feeling right now. The true feeling, the emotions that are coming out are different, but the true feeling is like, motherfucker, go focus on your work. When you're done with that, maybe come and try to hang out with people. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no point for me trying to beat myself up with any of this shit anymore. Beating myself up because a balance would be nice, and a balance should not require force. But even when I'm actually using some force, it's not balanced. When I'm not using force, it's not balanced. So at the very least, I have to understand the things that I need to eliminate from my life in order for me to be moving in a straight path, or else I'll just be going back and forth, hoping that things work out. Let's face it, we play the cards that we're dealt, and it clearly seems family is not something that I was dealt. All right, baby. It feels so good saying it out loud, by the way, but it's really like upsetting me and frustrating me. All right, I'm gonna take 5 minutes and like write it, do a couple more videos for the fuck of it.